Ian Gray here from the Confident Live Marketing Academy. Do you want to become more confident when you get in front of the camera, but maybe right now when you go live, you feel like you're going to scream? Well, in this episode of Winning with Live Video, I'm going to cover how you can turn that fear into excitement, how making mistakes actually makes you more relatable, covering the power of heightened authenticity and how you can ditch imposter syndrome and comparititis. Loads of other stuff today, also to do with live camera confidence hacks. Well, I'm excited to be sharing these with you. Let's get on with the show. Well, hello, welcome to Winning with Live Video. My name is Ian Gray. I am from the Confident Live Marketing Academy, and I'm here to help you win with live video, to knock through all those barriers that you might be facing, whether it's to do with the tech, with camera confidence, or with the content and marketing. Let me know where in the world you're watching from, if you're watching live or watching the replay. And also, I'd love to know, what kind of device are you watching on? Are you watching on a computer, tablet, TV? I don't know. It's great to be here. This is episode 6, which is pretty amazing. And apologies that I'm a little bit late in starting. Had a few technical problems. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm using Restream Studio. And I went, instead of going to events, I had it all set up. I don't know what was happening to my brain. I went to the normal studio and I then went live there. So who knows where I went live to. Just helps that you kind of organize yourself. But anyway, it's great to be here. Thank you for joining me. So yes, a little bit more about Restream. Restream is what powers this. It is the complete multi-streaming suite. It allows you to broadcast to all of 30 different destinations. One of the cool things now is you have Restream pairs, which we talked about recently. This allows your guests to share or broadcast to their channels as well. You can have up to 9 guests on your show. You can broadcast from other tools like OBS Studio and Ecamm. You've got analytics, so much. I just could tell you so much about Ecamm. Ecamm with Restream and Restream Studio. I love it. And today I'm using Restream Studio, which is awesome. But one of the big problems that so many of us face is just pressing that go live button and having the confidence to go live. Or maybe you have got the confidence, but you're wanting to be more engaging in front of the camera. You're wanting to get more comments and more people watching. And part of that is to do with camera confidence. I feel I think I've gotten a bit of an authority on this because I've had a bit of a journey. I really struggled with camera confidence to begin with. I really felt nervous, really nervous. In fact, I had a lot of fear getting in front of the camera. I remember back in the day when Google Plus was a thing and getting in front of the camera there, and I was absolutely petrified. But over the years, I've learned a lot of techniques and skills. I trained actually as a professional singer, so I've got a performance background. And yeah, I think now I feel a lot more confident, and I actually teach people all around the world to go live with confidence and with camera technique. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to be sharing, I think, how many points have I got? Let's have a look. 10, but there's probably going to be more along the way. So quick question. What is the main barrier that you have? Not to necessarily pressing the go live button. It might be, maybe you haven't gone live yet, or maybe you are, but there's something that's kind of stopping you from making it amazing, that's stopping you from winning with live video. What is that for you? Is it confidence? Is it camera technique? Is it a marketing-y thing? Is it the technology? Maybe you're feeling a bit overwhelmed. I'd love to know from you. We've got Micah in the house watching on YouTube. Great to see you. Hope you're doing really well. Good morning to you. It depends where in the world you're from. It could be good evening, but for you, it's good morning. Great to see you here. Yes, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Also, just to let you know, if you want to find out more about Restream, go to iag.me/Restream. That is an affiliate link. And if you want to take it for a test drive, it is an amazing platform. So do check that out. Awesome. Jason is in the house as well, watching on YouTube. Jason Martin Gaming. What kind of gaming do you do? Do you do lots of live streaming? Are you on YouTube and Twitch? Let me know. My son can't wait to get on to doing some live streaming. He's a massive Minecraft fan, but he's actually very excited about a game which I bought just the other day. And it was so I used to play Age of Empires. And anyone heard of Age of Empires? I played this it came out in about 1999. And I played this, I was a student. I'm showing my age now. And I loved it. I was a bit addicted to it. Well, Age of Empires 3 kind of became a thing, apparently. But I've still been playing Age of Empires 2. But recently, Age of Empires 4 came out. And that's very exciting. The only problem is, I've got a Mac, so I'm having to steal my wife's PC to play Age of Empires 4. So maybe I'll do some. I don't tend to live stream me playing games, but maybe I should. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. Cool. Well, it doesn't really matter what type of live streaming that you do. On the whole, you're going to have to get more confident in front of the camera. And because, I mean, even if you are doing some live streaming with gaming, you might not be showing your face. You will get more engagement if you are showing your face. And that can take time to get better at. So let's look at the first one, the first live camera confidence hack. And I'd love to hear from you what has helped you along the way. This is not just me talking. Remember, one of the most powerful things about live video is the community aspect of it. I love to hear from you. I'm not, trying to push you and force you into leaving your thoughts and comments. You might be driving. If you're driving, don't leave a comment, please. Just don't. If you're doing the washing up, might not be a good idea because you might drop your phone in the sink or something like that. But anyway, let's get on with the first one. My first camera hack is, actually, that's not it, is it? This is the one here. Helps when you click the right button. Fear is not your enemy, kind of. What do I mean by that? A lot of people say ditch the fear. And I think what is important here is that there are different types of fear. And fear on its own is not a good thing, but it's what you do with it that really matters. Pure, unadulterated fear, if, for example, there's a wild animal that is coming towards you and is about to attack you and there's nowhere for you to go, well, that is kind of good fear in a way. That's the inbuilt fear. You've got to, it's, giving you that adrenaline that's going to help you get out of that situation. Now, when you're in front of the camera, if you're feeling fearful, often that fear is it's kind of been blown out of proportion. Because you're not going to die, yeah? I mean, I can't think of a situation where you press the go live button and you feel you're going to die. You're not going to die, I promise you. You're going to feel nervous. But the important thing is that you use that fear as a springboard into excitement. So, before I pressed the go live button today, I was feeling a bit nervous. Not fearful, bit nervous. I want to make sure that this is a really engaging and valuable live show because, quite frankly, you've got other things that you could be doing. And I really, really value the fact that you're spending this time with me now. I want to make this as valuable as possible because you could be doing other things. You could be getting on with work, or maybe you are working at the same time and you're amazing at multitasking. I don't know. So you need to value your audience's time. And so you want to have, you don't want to go into your live streams feeling blasé and just not having that energy. So it's turning that fear into excitement. So fear is not your enemy as long as you control it and you convert it. It can be your fuel. Fear can be your fuel. You turn that, you use the adrenaline that's pumping into your veins and you turn that into excitement. Now, this does not mean that you become somebody else. It just means that you become you're still yourself, but you're putting more excitement into it. And I'll talk a little bit more about authenticity in a minute, because I think that is absolutely vital too. So do you agree with me on this? Or do you think fear is always bad? I think that fear is important. And I think about this from my performance background. I remember being on stage in front of hundreds of people at a concert hall, and I was about to sing this really difficult piece of music, and I was absolutely petrified, but it got me focused. It got that adrenaline pumping through my veins, and it gave one of the best performances of my life. So I do think that fear is a good thing as long as you use it well. Let me know what you think about that. Yeah. So, and thank you, Micah. You're saying, God bless you, viewer. Happy New Year Eve 2022. Can't believe it's like a month away. It's December the 1st tomorrow. Can you believe that? It's completely nuts. And it's actually a good time to think about, what is going to be I'm not massively into New Year's resolutions, okay, because it seems a bit false. But in a way, like a new year is a good time for reflection, looking at the past, but thinking about what you want to achieve next year. What do you want to achieve for 2022? And maybe it's getting more confident in front of the camera. Okay. Number 2, this one is absolutely vital. And this is one thing that's what's the word? Right, let's get the right phrase here. That's held me back. Let's say that so many times in the past. And it's like, I made the decision last year, no more. What is it? It is the curse of perfectionism. One of the great things about live video, and one of the main reasons why, there's lots of main reasons actually, lots of reasons why I love live video, but one big reason is that it's the kind of like the perfect antidote to perfectionism. As a recovering perfectionist myself, I know this, because when I go live, I'm resolved to the fact that it's not going to be perfect. I will make mistakes, but I will produce this content that can be then repurposed for later, but also it is still valuable to my live viewers. So don't try and make your live streams perfect. Just be you. Make it, just embrace your imperfection. It's actually those bits about you that people find endearing. And if they don't find it endearing, if they find your imperfection frustrating, well, you're never going to be their cup of tea. If you are doing live stream for business and they become a client of yours, and then they meet you and you've tried to be perfect, and they've seen this kind of robotic side of you, and then they meet you in real life, they're probably going to be disappointed. So just be you, because people find that attractive. People love that. I could be like worried about my British accent, or I don't know, sometimes like I'll stumble over words, or I don't know, it could be whatever it is. But actually it's those things about you that people find relatable. And I think that's important. So embrace your imperfection. It is, if you don't, it's going to stop you from going live. It's going to stop you from creating any kind of content. And quite frankly, your audience needs you. They want you to be you. So don't try and be anyone else. It's so important. Now, this looks really cool. Okay, so we've got, is it Lester Buckley watching on YouTube? Great to see you. Hope you're doing really well. And Phil, thank you so much for this comment watching on Facebook. Face your fear to conquer it. Keep putting yourself in these situations to make it more normal, and you won't feel them as much. I totally agree with you, Phil. I don't think it ever goes away, or I think it really changes. I think it changes. You're able to turn that fear into excitement, and it becomes much more the excitement. I think if you lose that excitement, and if you become too chilled out, I think you can lose some of the energy, and I think that's good. Anyway, you say, I still don't feel like being in front of a camera, but when I first But when I first started, I hated it. Yeah. Yes, similar. After 450 plus reviews and 70 plus live shows. Wow. Let's see if I can read the rest of it. I still don't like doing it, but I also look forward to doing it now. Now, that's really interesting, Phil. I wonder whether you could unpack that for me. Because it's just that last bit. You say, I still don't like doing it, but I also look forward to doing it now. I find that really interesting because I'm going to be honest with you. Most of the time, I really look forward to doing my live shows, and then when I do it, I find them really fun. And most of the time, I love doing it, but sometimes I don't look forward to it. I think, oh no, it's a lot of energy because I'm an introvert. So actually, what I'm doing at the moment requires a lot of energy from me, and at the end of this, I'm going to feel really tired. I've talked about this before. I'm going to have my dinner after this because it's 5:20 in the evening. But I need to kind of like have some chill time at the end of this. So the thought of that amount of energy I find, hard and tiring. But I always love it. So I'm just interested, Phil, what's going on in your mind there. And Caleb, completely agree. It is a lot of energy and moments of feeling overwhelmed. I think we can reverse that feeling of overwhelmed. I used to feel a bit like that. Now, I don't. Certainly from a technical point of view, I've got all the processes in place. And also, I think if things go wrong, I give myself a bit of like self-love and forgive myself. Like last week, I went live 25 minutes early. It was a complete mistake. Today, I messed up a little bit. These things happen even to people like me who've been doing this for years and years and are professionals. But yeah, I think there's a balance. We've got to think about our own mental health and what we can cope with. So for me, I just have to pace myself with the amount of live shows that I do. And, Phil was saying, face your fear and conquer it. Keep putting yourself in those situations to make it more normal. Totally agree. But it needs to be at a pace that you can cope with. Don't overburden yourself. I think in most situations, we're going to probably do the opposite because our brains just are trying to protect us, actually. They're trying to stop us from feeling hurt and putting ourselves in those difficult situations. So a lot of things to think about there. A lot of things to think about. So Micah says, live stream like people come in on YouTube and Facebook. Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about Restream. You can go live on YouTube and Facebook and all the rest of them. Phil says, I get nervous before the shows and worry about things. Yeah. Same with me. I less so now because I've done it for so long. But I also look forward to the content. Sorry, on phone, so autocorrect is a pen. Oh, do you know what? I hate autocorrect. I hate typing on my phone. I always like to get to a computer before I type. So no need to apologize. So is this Alicia? Sorry, I can't read. I need to probably get new glasses. Says, so thank you for this comment. Watching on Facebook, I feel like I have more anxiety when there are a few people viewing my live versus when there are many more people. You're not alone. I feel like that too, actually, to be totally honest. At the start of this, because I started a bit late, I think people were a bit confused. And so I didn't actually have many people watching when I first started. Now we're starting to get more people. And actually, because what I did is I went live to the wrong place and I didn't have anyone watching live. And I was thinking, there's nobody watching. Nobody loves me. And then I realized I was in the wrong place. But I had that anxiety too. So it is real. But I think this is not, it's obviously not helpful. And I think you know that, Alicia. It's not helpful. It's because the thing is, why are we going live? What is your reason? And if you feel like you could share this, not just Alicia, but it's whoever else is watching live or the replay, I'd love to know, what is your reason for going live? Now, if it is community, if it is to build community, then yes, live viewers do matter. The more people that you have, it does give you that community feel. But you've got your replay viewers as well. And The other thing to remember is that just imagine, because I can see the number at the top here. Now, if you're watching on Facebook, you'll see a number of people watching. That is not the true number, by the way, because of course I'm live streaming on lots of different places. So if you see like the number 1 or the number 2, that means 1 or 2 people are watching live, including yourself. So if you're watching on Facebook, there might be two people watching, you and somebody else. But I see another number. I see a much bigger number because I'm live streaming everywhere else. But just imagine all those people come to your house and sit and they listen to you and they're listening to that. It's amazing. So even if the number is low, just remember that these are real human beings. You now, with me, you have decided to spend this time with me, whether it's for 1 or 2 minutes, 30 seconds or 5 minutes or for the whole thing. And I think that is amazing. We should never lose track of that. So when it comes to the anxiety side of things, I totally get you. I feel like that sometimes, but it is something I think we need to ditch. It is an anxiety. Easier said than done, but I think it is important. Some great comments here. Caleb is saying on Facebook, preparation is key and perfection is a myth. Like, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? But it needs to be said. And yes, a lot of people agreeing with Alicia. Martin Buckland is in the house watching on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for your comment. I'm facilitating. I love that. I love that word, facilitating. My 71st Tuesday at 2. I mean, I remember when you started this, Martin. Is it really 71? 71st Tuesday at 2. So this is a live show that Martin does this afternoon. Then I'm doing a 1-minute live stream every day for the next 25 days of Advent. Each day a different career tip, 1 minute at one. I love that. That's a great thing. And you know, that doesn't need to be live. I mean, Martin, in a way, in one sense he's making it more difficult for himself, but in another way he's not, because Martin knows that when he goes live, it's done. It's done. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be done, and that is great. I love that. I love that idea, and that's what I did. Many years ago. I did the 12 days running up to Christmas. I went live twice a day, so it was 24 lives, and that's how I learned. And Mike is saying, make sure you hit the likes. Absolutely. If you can share this out, like it, that would be great. I meant to say, do check out, I have got some new YouTube videos on Restream pairs. I completely forgot to tell you about this. So do check those out. Videos on Restream pairs. I'm going to put this in the chat. I should have done this earlier, so excuse me. So if you just go to my channel, which is youtube.com /Ian Anderson Gray. I should have a short link for that, but it's not come up yet. And I've got a couple of videos. If you want to learn about how to use Restream pairs, I've got some videos that I've just launched on that, but also a video on how you can add your podcast to Facebook. So they have just come out, which is great. Phil, just before we get on with my next point, started filming on an old iPhone and now have a lot of equipment. But the hardest part ever is starting. I'm going to share something with you in a minute, Phil. You will never have the perfect studio or camera or ever be 100% ready. Sometimes you just have to press live and start. And if you are like what Phil is talking about there, which I think that most of us are like this, some of us more than others, recovering perfectionists, this is why live is good, because it just gets done. You may stumble over your words. You may not like the way you look or the way you sound, but you'll get it done and you will learn something from it. Even if you don't use the footage, you will learn something from it. So absolutely amazing advice there from Phil. Thank you. Sometimes, I would say all the time, you pretty much have to press live and start. And so, yeah, I've just been talking about my YouTube videos, and that's a case in point. You know, I had a video that I published about 4 or 5 years ago, and let's just find it actually. Okay, let's just share this. I can actually share my screen, can't I? Let's just do that. because I want to be totally honest with you about my struggles to encourage you. So if I go to my YouTube channel and go to all videos, and then how do I get the filter? Where's it gone? Where's it gone now? There's a little filtery thing. Sort by. There we go. There, sort by. And then go to the most popular. So my most popular video was... Actually, hold on. Am I showing this? I'm not showing it. Helps if you share it. There we go. So my most popular video was 5 years ago. I had 304,000 views on my how to broadcast Facebook Live using your computer. That was 5 years ago, and I had one 7 years ago, which is at 18,000. But you know, I've not been working on my YouTube channel. I've gone live, so live videos have worked really well on YouTube, but I've not been creating these short pre-recorded videos because I was suffering from this perfectionism. I was trying to make it perfect. Until I realized that I made the decision, look, it doesn't matter. You just need to get started and do it, even though I've not been really doing it very much for the last 4 or 5 years. So, I'm just starting this now, and I want to encourage you. If there's something that, it could be like a podcast, it could be a live show. If there's something that's stopping you, just stop it. Stop the perfection. Embrace imperfection. Embrace that imperfection. Definitely. Martin is saying, thank you for this, Martin, tune in to see the wooden advent calendar I'm using each day. I love that. So it's not a chocolate one. Old school. I love that. I'm all into all of that. Caleb is saying, finally found I could trim videos on Facebook and YouTube, and that made my day. Absolutely, yeah. So for your live streams, you can go back. It doesn't actually just have to be live streams, but you can go back. You can trim the beginning or the end. This is perfect if you start with a countdown timer and you want to trim off that. So you could have actually like a live segment at the beginning that you're spending time with your live audience, and then get into the main section of your live show. So you can trim that beginning bit off. You can trim on Facebook, you can trim on YouTube, and you can trim on LinkedIn. YouTube is a bit different though, just before we get on with my next thing. YouTube is a bit different. It has a different technology. What Facebook and LinkedIn do is they don't actually edit the video itself. They just, you don't realize this as a viewer, but they kind of fast forward to the point where you've trimmed it and they play it from there. In Facebook's case, this can sometimes result, I think they fixed this, but I found on mobile that when I watched it back after I trimmed it, it would be out of sync. I think they fixed that now, so that's okay. YouTube has a slight downside, is that when you trim a live stream for the replay afterwards, you lose the chat replay. That's not a massive deal. On Facebook and LinkedIn, the live comments become regular comments underneath the video. YouTube is different because the chat, any comments in the chat, so if you're commenting on YouTube, they will be within the chat replay. They won't be regular YouTube comments. If you're watching the replay, they will be in the replay comments. I know I'm being a bit pedantic here, but I think it's important because if you trim your video, you lose the chat replay. So the community aspects of it is kind of lost. Whether that's a big deal is up to you. But yeah, that's just something to think about. Russ is saying, are you monitoring your feeds while going live? Do you mean the comments? Absolutely, if that's what you mean. That's really, really important that you engage with your community. And using Restream, I'm going live to over 15 destinations, and I can pretty much look at all of them from here as well. How many people... So Mike is asking, how many people join the YouTube live stream room? What do you mean by that, the live stream room? Is that just watching it on YouTube? I don't know how many people are actually watching on YouTube. I think we've got about 8 people watching on YouTube at the moment. But yeah, let's look at the next one. Okay. Keep those comments coming. I'd love that. So we've talked about Fear is not your enemy, kind of. We talked about embracing your fear and converting it into energy and excitement in front of the camera. Number 2 was embracing imperfection. We've spent a lot of time on that. Now, camera hack 3 is something that's kind of close to my heart. I trained as a professional classical singer. So I do feel like practicing some warm-ups, some vocal warm-ups, doing some stretching, just getting your body into the right place is important. But I want to talk to you about heightened authenticity, because I think it's important to be you, because trying to be somebody else or trying to act somebody else is just tiring. It's going to be tiring, but also it's just, people can spot it. People can spot when you're fake and inauthentic. I wonder whether you've seen somebody go live and they're putting on an act and it just doesn't feel right. I find that hard. I can't really watch somebody on a live stream for very long if they're not really being themselves. But there's something that we can do. What you don't want, if you're quite a quiet person, you might be an introvert, you might be shy, you might be very softly spoken. It is important to kind of raise the energy a little bit. And this is what I called heightened authenticity. So it's being yourself, but just putting a bit more energy into it. And what I suggest, when I work with my clients, I talk about saying their tagline for their business, and we're practicing it at different levels. So my tagline is, level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. And we practice it at level 1. Level 1 is just if I was speaking to you one-to-one quietly, maybe in a coffee shop or a pub, and I would say it like this. I help level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of confident live video. Now that's me really low energy. Number 2 would be, so I was speaking to a group of 5 people maybe, and I would say, level up your impact and authority using live video. Number 3 is a workshop, maybe in front of 30 to 40 people. I would obviously have to raise the level even more. Level up your impact and authority using live video. Now, the next one is getting in front of the camera. Now, the camera is this energy-sucking device. It tends to suck the energy away from you, so you have to give even more. I'm going to turn to this camera over here. So, level up your impact and authority using live video. Which brings me on to number 5, which is the one that people feel really uncomfortable with, which is imagine you're giving a keynote in front of 10,000 people at like Wembley Stadium or the Super Bowl or something, I don't know. And it would be like this. Level up your impact and authority using live video. Now that's probably far too much energy. In fact, a lot of those are going to be far too much energy. But what we're doing, we're just practicing getting you to put more energy, also some more resonance in your voice, so that when you do get in front of the camera, and remember the camera is sucking this energy out of you, that you do maintain that energy and excitement. What you don't want is to become someone that you're not. So I get excited about what I'm talking about. I'm not going to speak like this all the time. That's just not me. If I carry on like that, and that would be tedious for you, I think, watching. So you've got to be yourself. So we want the authenticity, but we want it heightened. And I'd be really interested to know what you think about that, because I think that is really important as well. So Micah is asking a question. I'm not sure I understand this. So I have a question about the future of the live stream start on YouTube Room. So I've not played around with this with the YouTube thing. So yeah, it might just be me who I'm being a bit slow this morning. But YouTube Room, the future of the live stream start on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. Sorry. Maybe somebody else can help. And Phil, yes, 10 cans of Red Bull does not work either. I would actually, personally, avoid things like, certainly too much caffeine. You just need to rely on your own energy as well, because, again, these things can change the way you act, and just be you. Just be you. And you don't need to be like overly excited. Just be you. Just be you. Okay. Where are we? Practice warming up. Okay, the next one. Okay. Have to mention this one. Do you struggle with these things? Please be honest. It can't just be me. Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. Comparisonitis. These are problems that so many of us face, particularly in the world of social media. We see so many other people out there. You know, you see me go live, you see other people go live, and maybe you think, "Oh, I could never do it as good as he. I could never do get in front of the camera as confidently as her," and so that kind of stops you from doing it. That's comparisonitis. It's a killer. It really is. And I've struggled with that in the past. You know, it's because we go on social media and we see other people doing it. Now, this is easier said than done. But instead of compare and despair is the other way of looking at it. Not compare, but look at others and be inspired. So get inspiration. There might be certain things that I'm doing. You think, oh, that's really cool. I could do that. Or maybe there's some things you're saying, well, there's some things that Ian's doing that I don't really like. I'm definitely not going to do that. So learn from those things. Learn from what other people are doing. Imposter syndrome is this feeling that you're a fraud. And it's obviously a lie. Remember to turn up and share your knowledge with your audience. Do you know as much as other people out there? No. That you will certainly know more than others, but you will not know as much as other people. But you will be the perfect medium for your audience. So ditch those things. Really important. They can be absolute killers when it comes to that. Including, there's other things we could talk about, like worried about the way you look and the way you sound. And it could be things like you're coming up with excuses. I'm too old to do this. I'm too young. I don't know why you'd say that, but I'm too late. Yeah, not good. Scott says, I just stayed baked the entire time I stream. Well, yeah, we all have our ways, don't we? Love that. Okay, so next one is, and who said this earlier? I think, was it Caleb or somebody was saying about planning? Have a plan. This is not like big news here, but that's really important. I had a plan. I have a structure. I have 10 points that I'm going to share with you. And I'm not reading from a script. I have a teleprompter up here, which allows me to see myself, see the stream, but I can also see the text on there as well. In fact, if you're interested in how that all looks, if I just move my thing, you can probably see my teleprompter there. Or I'll have to wave there, won't I, or something, so you can see that. And then I can move my words up and down. I don't know whether you can see that on the teleprompter, but yeah, that's how that works. A bit more about that in a bit, actually. But yes, have a plan and stick to it. And that's going to curb a lot of anxiety that you may be feeling. It just means that things are going to be much better that way. It doesn't mean you can't improvise. I have a script. But I've got bullet points, so I know what I'm talking about. And practice, because the more times you do it, the more, the more confident you will become and the better you will become at it. So have a plan and stick to it. Yeah, absolutely. Scott, watching on Facebook, thank you for your comment. I've had public speaking and have stood in front of 2,500 people. That is a lot. So just be you, interact, make you sell, not what you're streaming. Make it what you see. Yeah, absolutely. So just be yourself, because that is what people want to see. People don't want fakeness in front of the camera. Who is it now? Russ watching on Facebook. How do you like your Mac Mini? I've got one. I love it. Yeah, I love it. And so the kids got a Mac Mini, and then an M1 Mac Mini. And I was having loads of problems with my MacBook Pro. I had an Intel MacBook Pro. I was having loads of problems, even with Restream Studio. It wasn't Restream Studio's fault. It was just my computer was overheating. It was getting slow. And so I borrowed that M1 and it just worked flawlessly. Everything that I threw at it, it was amazing. So I ended up buying an M1 Mac Mini for me, and that's what I'm using at the moment. It's amazing. I'm kind of looking forward to it when they launch. I hope they are going to launch a Mac Mini Pro, which has got, you know, the new processors, what they call the M1 Max and the M1 Pro, and more RAM and stuff like that. But, you know, to be honest, I'm pretty much everything I fling at it at the moment, it copes really, really well. So I probably don't need that. So if you're looking for a computer that will not break the bank, that is amazing for live streaming, the Mac Mini is amazing. You might be a PC user and you're a bit kind of reluctant to go over to Mac. Well, I was like that. I still use PCs today. I'm very much, I love Windows. I love Mac as well. But I made the switch pretty much like 5 years ago, and I've been really happy. It's been allowed me to be much more productive. But the Mac Mini is just excellent. It's just amazing. So I'm glad you've had a really good experience, Russ. I've definitely had that as well. Love that. Okay, number 6. Camera technique. Position the camera properly, look through the camera, or use a teleprompter. Now, do I have my other... I don't think I have my other webcam. I think the kids have stolen it. I've got a Logitech C920 camera. That's how I started. And I had it just above my monitor. What you need to do, this is really hard to begin with. It took me quite a few months to kind of get over this. But we're hardwired as humans to look at other humans. We look, you know, when you're talking with somebody, you look into their eyes. You're probably not aware that you do that, but you do that. And even if it's a picture of you, like at the moment, I'm looking at myself, not because I'm a narcissist, but because I'm hardwired to do that. But if you have a standard webcam just above your screen, you have to kind of unlearn that and look not at the camera, but through the camera. So you need to imagine there is somebody, a friend of yours or your audience, about a foot or 2 feet behind the camera. You need to look through it. The way I did it is the way I learned is I got a piece of paper with arrows, red arrows pointing into the middle, and I had to put a hole in it, and I put my webcam through that hole, and that kind of got my brain focusing in on my camera. Other people have just printed out a picture of a family member, a friend, or a client of theirs and put it behind the camera, so it just reminds them to look at through the camera at their audience. Because what you don't want is this. So I'm now looking at my screen, looking at myself, and it doesn't look like I'm engaged with you. So that's poor camera technique. Whereas at the moment, I'm looking directly at you. Hopefully it feels that I'm connecting with you. So you need to either practice it that way, or what you can do is what I've done here, which is I've got this teleprompter. My camera is just behind here. So I don't know whether you can see that okay. It's a bit difficult to see. And then I've got this little monitor here that I can then display on it. I can display my screen on there, but I've also got my teleprompter, not for my script, but for my bullet points. So I think that's the next stage. You don't need that. You can practice just with a normal webcam, but that's the next level, and it really, really helps. Definitely. Who have we got here? Oh, we've got Real Northwest Arkansas. Sorry I'm late. You do not need to apologize. It's just awesome that you're here. I really appreciate you coming in each week, and hope you're doing well. How are things out where you are? And what are you doing in the world of live streaming? Today we're talking about, just so if you just joined, sorry, let's not put that on the screen. If you just joined, what we're talking about today is, well, it's the Winning with Live video show, and we're talking about becoming more confident in front of the camera with some live camera hacks, confidence hacks. So we've gone through up to 6, just a quick kind of summary of what we talked about. Camera hack number 1 was fear is not your enemy. Embrace the fear, turn it into excitement. Number 2 is embrace imperfection. Number 3 is practice warm-ups and heightened authenticity. Be yourself, but just raise the energy levels a little bit. Ditch the imposter syndrome. We do not want imposter syndrome. We definitely don't. And we don't want comparititis. It's an absolute killer. Have a plan and stick to it. And then the next one, we should just come up to, is camera technique. Position the camera correctly, properly. So make sure it is at eye level. That's one thing I've meant to mention. Look through the camera. Total optional thing, but in the future, if your budget allows, use a teleprompter, not for a script, but so that you can look at yourself and look at your script. So the next one, unless your show is about something very, very dark, and maybe you're talking about death or something, don't forget to smile. Now, I actually was watching a live show. No, it wasn't a live show. It was a video, and it was about something very harrowing. It was talking about human trafficking. But even within that dark subject, they cracked a few jokes and they talked openly about it. They were talking with a survivor of human trafficking, and it was just amazing. So I think it's just important to have some encouragement in there, some smiles, and for most of our shows, don't forget to smile. You might feel like really nervous, but just remember to smile because people really engage with that. If I was, actually, I don't know if I can stop smiling. If I looked like that all the time, if I was speaking like this, today we're talking about camera hacks, and I was speaking very seriously like that, I don't know. How does that look? Does that look very good? Probably not. So smile. Don't forget to smile. It is easy to forget to smile because you're worried about all these things. And that's why planning and all the processes and practicing and all that kind of stuff helps. But smile, relax, still have that excitement and that energy. But yes, really important. How important do you feel smiling is? Do you feel that's important? I do. I think it is. I think it's really important. Okay, number 8. In this world of narcissism, stop thinking about yourself. What do I mean by that? I've talked about this before. I think we probably all have elements of narcissism in us, or certainly ego. We all have a bit of ego. For me, and this is part of like my recovering perfectionism. I think I've tried to get everything, like perfect in the past. And who am I serving when I'm doing that? If for example, if I want to get my background really good, if for example, like over there, I'm actually thinking I want to have like a bookcase or maybe like a neon sign or something like that, which would be really cool. And I think if I had it, some of you watching might think, oh, that's really cool, Ian. But really, who am I serving in that? If I stop live streaming because I need to sort out my background, who am I serving? I'm serving myself. And I'm actually giving into my perfectionism and thinking, well, I can't possibly live stream because like my background is not good enough. And I didn't go live for a whole month because I was worried about that, my previous house. So stop thinking about yourself. You remember you are going live. Okay, you enjoy it. You're doing it to get some enjoyment, but ultimately you were doing it for your audience. People, you watching now, as I keep on saying, you could be doing something else. You have turned up today, and I really, really appreciate you more than you will know for spending this time with me. It is amazing, and that gives me joy. But it's because I'm doing this not for me. I'm doing it to serve you, and so you need to get out of the way. You need to not try and strive for perfection. You need to be there for your audience. So stop thinking about yourself. The most important person on your live streams is your audience. The second most important is your guest, if you have one, and right at the bottom is you. So I'd love to know what you think about that. Thank you, Micah. God bless you, sir. And Russ is saying, are you using a blue screen? Looks like it. No, I'm not. I'm not using a blue screen. I don't know whether you can see this. Let's see if I can show you. So it's basically, I shouldn't admit this, but this is actually wallpaper. It's a wallpaper brick wall. And over there, do you see next to my tree, I've got a light. This is actually a Philips Hue light, which is turning different colors. And I've got another one somewhere. Oh yeah, there's a green screen. There's a green screen down there, which I'm not using. I can't actually turn the camera around too much. And yes, I'm using the Philips Hue bulb. So that is actually cycling through different colors just to give a bit of effect. So yeah, I use green screens, not so much for live. I used to. I use my green screens sometimes for pre-recorded videos if I want to do like a picture-in-picture thing, or for my silly song videos that I do on Instagram. So if you're interested in seeing what on earth I'm on about there, do find my Instagram. I'll just put it in the comments. It's instagram.com/iag.me and check out my reels. I use a green screen for that. I don't use a blue screen, but do check that out. So where did we get to? That was don't forget to smile, stop thinking about yourself. Camera hack number 9. We are almost at the end. My goodness, we're doing well here. We're almost at the hour, and I've got 2 more to share with you. Camera hack number 9 is use different shots to make things interesting, like what I'm doing here. Now, for this, you might need like a camera switcher in the background. That could be OBS Studio. OBS Studio is completely free. It works on Macs and PCs. And now built into OBS Studio, you've got a virtual camera. So what you can do is you can then use that within Restream Studio. So you could just select the OBS Studio camera, or if you're a Mac user, you could use Ecamm Live, which is what I'm using to switch my cameras around. This is actually my iPhone over here. So if you can see that, that's my iPhone camera, and I'm using something called Epoch Cam on there, which is cool, from Elgato. So I'm just like switching up. So for example, for dramatic effect, you could create like a zoomed in shot. So I think that just makes things a bit more interesting. It's completely optional, but yeah, use different shots to make things interesting. And that brings me on to the final one. And do let me know if you've got any more thoughts or comments before we finish. Actually, no, I've got 2 more after this. 12. Had more than I thought. Camera hack 10 is sit or stand, be comfortable. I've actually got a standing desk, so I'm sitting down at the moment. But, ooh, what's going on? I might want to stand up. There we go. I'm going to stand up now. So I'm actually standing up. And depending on my mood, like if I'm a bit more lethargic, I'll find standing up really helps. But whatever you feel comfortable with, make sure that you feel comfortable and you got that energy into it. So that is my camera hack number 10. But whatever you do with that, of course, make sure that your camera is at the right level. And so what actually I've got here, just to go back to here. What's gone on there? Yeah, I've got a standing desk, and yeah, it's all a bit delayed actually, isn't it? But everything is attached to my standing desk there. Yeah, I think it was a slight delay with the Wi-Fi. Okay, number 11 is be yourself and happy in who you are. So that's the whole authenticity thing. Don't think we need to talk about that again. And number 12 is not something that I kind of tend to think about. It might be because I'm a bloke, a guy, but I still think it's important, just feeling comfortable in who you are. And so I think often what you wear can give you a lot more confidence. For me, it's my hair. If I have my hair cut and styled, it just gives me a lot more confidence in me. So hair, makeup, and clothes, think about that. But at the end of the day, be yourself. Don't hide behind those things. Don't hide behind, I don't know, the clothes that you wear or makeup that you wear or anything like that. Really, really important. That's my final hack of the day. So, thank you. Somebody's watching on Facebook. Unfortunately, I can't see who you are. If you want me to see your name, you need to go to confident.live/show my name. That's confident.live/show my name. But don't worry about it today because we're almost at the end of the show. But thank you so much for your comment. Great camera angles. I do enjoy that. And I think the energy is better standing for most people. I agree. That's the way. I think it depends on the kind of mood that I'm in. So that's why I like a standing desk. I think I put more energy in when I'm standing. You have to be careful about the weight, shifting your weight. So I found that standing, I can sometimes wobble a bit like this. So if you see me doing that, it's not because I need the toilet. It's because I'm just shifting my weight. But yeah, I would agree. But some people just prefer sitting. Whatever works for you is my tip there, really. Russ, thank you so much for your comments as well. Thank you for all your tips. It's been great. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the live, or if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. This show is powered by Restream. It's on Restream's channels. We're going live to Restream YouTube, Restream Facebook. We're also going live to all of my channels on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Twitch, VK, OKD Live, Vaughn Live, and the rest of them through the power of Restream. And of course, if you want to find out more about Restream, if you want to take it for a test drive, do check out iag.me/Restream. That is an affiliate link. So if you do purchase it, I will get a small percentage from that. But that is it for this week. Next week, what are we talking about next week? Let's see if I've got my list here. I might not actually have it. But next week, same time, this is at 5 p.m. UK and Ireland. That's 6 p.m. Central European. That's 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Every Tuesday, and I can't wait to see you next week. Well, that is it for this week. Do check out the other shows on Restream, and until next time, I encourage you to win with live video. See you soon. Toodaloo.